Okay, so hopefully at this time you've got the first 2 pages of this assignment done. So we're going to flip over to the third page. So we're going to flip past that page, flip to the third page. Okay, so we're on Nature of Roots 3.6. Nature of Roots 3.6. I've typed a note. I put it into this assignment for you to make it easy. The quadratic formula can be used to determine the x-intercepts. So as opposed to factoring, we can use this formula right here, the quadratic formula, okay, to find the roots or the x-intercepts or the zeros called x-intercepts, roots, zeros, different names. Now, this part in here, the b squared minus 4ac, that's known as the discriminant. Now, if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, so you got a positive number, you have two real solutions, and the quadratic hits the x-axis twice. Now, if b squared minus 4ac equals 0, so in here, in the square root, you get 0, the discriminant is 0 right in there, then it sits on the x-axis. So there's only one x-intercept, and it goes and sits on the x-axis. Now, if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, so if that's a negative number in here, right here you have a negative number, there are no x-intercepts, and it sits above. So again, this is negative, this is 0, and this is positive. So positive hits twice, 0 sits on the axis right there, and negative, you won't have any x-intercepts, no x-intercepts, because the graph is above. It's above the x-axis. So we're going to begin with this first question. And I'll do it on a piece of paper. You guys can just fill it in underneath. So I'm going to get a piece of paper and do it on this piece of paper. So start off with the first question. F at x equals 2x squared plus 4x minus 8. So A is 2, B is 4, C is negative 8. You don't have to write this. You can skip the steps. I'll show you which step you can start at, but I'm going to show everything in this one. So x equals, and you have your formula, just copying that formula there, negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And I know we have done this. So you're going to insert the b, so negative 4 plus minus the square root in a bracket, 4 squared. Now, be careful here. I would put that in a bracket. I may even put the first one in a bracket because sometimes there's a double negative, makes it a positive. So if that was a negative 4, you put a negative in there, makes a double negative. Here we have the 4. If that's a negative, be careful. It's probably better in a bracket. Minus 4 times 2. So that's the A. And the C is negative 8. All over 2. Now, some of you are cheating and not putting that line all the way across. You're like putting a little line. Look, I put it all the way across. Mathematically, you should have that line all the way across. Please put it all the way across. I'm going to start taking some marks off if you don't. Okay, on the next step. So that's negative 4. We can figure out the bottom. 2 times 2. So we can figure out the bottom is 4. The plus minus goes here, and I'm going to figure out what's in that square root. So I'm going to get my trusty handy-dandy calculator. Let's hope you guys can see it. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to type. Okay, we'll put in a bracket 4. Okay, see if you can see it. Bracket 4 squared. Okay, minus 4 bracket 2 bracket negative 8. Close the bracket. Equals 80. So in here we get 80. Double check. 4 squared, that's b, 4 minus 4 times 2 times negative 8. All right, in the formula, and you get 80. Okay, on the next line now, we know we're going to have two answers because that discriminant, okay, is positive. So 2 answers. So now we're going to split it up into the 2 answers. So I like to split it up here. I like to write minus 4 over 4 And over here, I like to write minus 4 over 4. At this point, I'm going to square root 80, and I like to put it in 2 decimal places. So I'm going to use my square root key here and put 80. And I like to put 8.94. I like plus 8.94 and minus 8.94. Now comes the part that people make a mistake. So there's 2 answers for these x. One of these can be x1, the other is x2. So this one could be our x1, and this one could be our x2. We've been labeling it as x1, x2. Now, here's the mistake that people make on the calculator. So let's see this one. Negative 4 plus 8.94. Don't divide by 4 here. Hit equals. Okay. Now divide by 4. And you get 1.235. Let's round that to 1.24. Now the second one. Let's do the same thing. Negative 4 minus 8.94 equals, and divide by 4. Equal. Don't forget that equals. And then x2 is negative 3.24. Now, over here, where would I start? Like if I was doing this question, I would start here. I wouldn't write the formula, so I'd put it here. I go to this step, break it up into the 2, and write these 2. So I probably wouldn't write the formula in that, but I just did it for you guys so you could see. So there we go. There's that answer. You're going to play the next video to show the next answers, or the next 2 questions.